What's up, crypto junkies? It's Jay coming at you with another video. We're going to talk about gold actually in this video. We're going to talk about Bitcoin. We're going to talk about pegging of currencies. Man, there's so much I want to talk to you about. So let's go ahead and cue the intro, get it started. What's up, my friends? So today in this video I want to cover a few things, but the overall topic that has been going on in the market is gold dead. Okay, essentially, has it lost its value as a safe haven? I want to talk about that. I want to talk a little bit about crypto and just overall the kind of global macro plays here. These are my views. I know that this is pretty obvious and we put the little thing at the bottom of these videos. This is my views. I'm a contrarian. I like looking at the markets and what I consider to be a very different way than most people look at it. I like to share that with you. So this for me is very, very fun because I'm insanely passionate about this topic and getting better at it every single day. And I'm completely okay with getting things wrong, not knowing it all, and figuring out along the way. This over time I think will turn into a very amazing polished trait. So I'm excited about it. But anyways, let's talk about gold and silver. I want to start with some basics. There's been some people that have not only reached out, they've made comments. I appreciate all those comments on the last video. I love that we're actually getting into deep conversation in the YouTube comments section and we're moving away from really ignorant based comments and trolling. That would be great if we could just keep going on this path, because I consider you guys to be really smart and I'd love to interact with you on a very intelligent basis, not a lower level mental basis. Okay, amazing swing low here on gold. I'm on a daily. To come back here, gold is epic for just playing. You can play this thing like a fiddle in terms of on the dime Fibonacci lines. Silver is the same thing. I'll show you the big one with silver. Here's the bottom that we hit. Let's just snap this line really quick and let me show you this. Boom, there, this line. Obviously going back through history, we see that it's been used right here. That was the falling knife there. It's been used as support and resistance. Remember, with gold and silver, you got a lot of data. You got a ton of data going back years and years and years. Let's just see if there's anything. Here it is again, playing a pivotal role at this point. When is that? 2010. Here it is again, acting as a ceiling in early 2010. So yeah, you see that these lines, they go back in time and they speak a story, all right? So anyways, we came down and it looks like it was actually a little bit of capitulation, which let me just define that for you. Capitulation is where the market realizes its losses and it gives in to the sentiment, stops trying to defend and walks away, sells, okay? So we had a great swing low here. But the floor, so the basement or the floor, the bottom for gold is around the 1200 range. And the reason why is because that's the accepted amount that it costs to actually mine gold. So it can't really go below that because then fundamental kicks in. And that's the difference between fundamental and technical. We can talk about Fibonacci lines all day long, that's technical, but fundamental is like, how much does it cost to turn that gold into, like, take it out of the mountain, turn it into something real, you know, and give it to you? It's around $1,200. I don't know what it is for silver, and it's estimated for Bitcoin to be somewhere between 4,000 and 5,000, even though, like, honestly, in South America, you can mine this shit for like $500. But the global accepted number for Bitcoin at this point, and this is coming from experts, not me, is $4,000 to $5,000 range. Okay, this is when the big mining gets into trouble. So yes, you can go in some, you know, stain country or little tiny speck country, and it'll cost you $100, $500 to mine the stuff. 51% of the mining is run through China for Bitcoin. You know, don't forget that. So what it costs, the costs are coming out of the main players for mining, which is, you know, China and whatever else is up there. I don't actually even know. It's been a while since I looked at that chart. You can look at the global mining allocation charts. Maybe I should have pulled that up. I might pull it up and put it in the edit. We'll see. If not, just look it up yourself. It's cool. And you can look it up on Etherscan as well for the Ethereum markets and kind of figure out what those bottoms or basements are as well. With gold, you know, it's not going to break down very much. It's not going to keep going. Let's just take a second here. I don't understand where the argument for Bitcoin going down to zero comes from. All the miners would just stop and it would just go away. What? Really? Like, because couldn't they just do that with gold? Oh, well, no, Jay, you don't get it. It's different. How's it different? You got mining equipment. You got expenses in mining Bitcoin. You got expenses in mining gold. Oh, well, the world demands gold. Well, wait a second. Isn't there a ton of utility with Bitcoin and Bitcoin Cash now and Ethereum? Yeah, Ethereum not so much, but Bitcoin Cash, yeah, of course there is. So the argument is not like that is your bias. You got to be careful of that too. And so if that's your opinion, you got to be able to say that because that's not a truth. So anyways, we weren't going to keep breaking down. We're not going to zero in gold. We're not going to zero in Bitcoin. It's an absolutely ridiculous conversation that is done by people who really don't understand the market. I actually thought that it was going to bounce and just stay on this line here, which is what, -236? Yeah. And just float around here and then bounce out. But we saw a beautiful swing low here and it's starting to bounce out. Again, remember, we're on a daily. So it's looking good. And this would have been more buying days if you're sticking to this super simple strategy I gave you, which is buy on extreme oversold, and that's it. You know, if you treat this as a currency, then you're never really selling. You're just kind of holding on to it. And so this is more buying days. Like really, a lot of these days would have been buying days, depending on where you got your variables here with oversold and overbought. So this is good. It's bouncing back out. Let's take a quick look at silver. This is a beautiful bounce off of this line here that I've highlighted. Oh, what do you know? Confluence here coming back from July 6, 2017. And I'm sure a ton more. Like, look, here's some action back in February of 2016. It's acting as support before it broke down here in November of 15. Look at this, support, 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 all through, slight breakthrough here. Mostly support through quarter 3 of 2015. It's a historic line. We saw a nice bounce out, and here we go. It looks like we're forming our second candle, maybe a 3-soldier candle formation here. You're looking for it to get back up above the 236. I just drew out this quick fib from bottom to top. Look at this history. Gold and silver plays perfectly on the Fibonacci lines. It really does. It's mind-blowing. I kind of wish crypto would play ball a little bit more on those fib lines. But anyway, so gold, silver, let's talk about it. Okay, 1997, Asian crisis, gold did nothing. 2008, gold did nothing. People are really questioning lately that is it still a safe haven for us to put money into? This is the time when you should be buying. When there's blood in the streets, that's when you buy. Okay, Warren Buffett operates this way. Most really smart guys do. When most of the market is sitting around going, well, why isn't gold going to the moon? You know that they're missing something big. A lot of, since that retail money is running out, you should be running in. Let's look at some basics though. All right, gold is based on the dollar. What's really strong right now? The US dollar. The US dollar is insanely strong right now, actually. And the US economy, the president is literally on TV every day, like him or not like him. We're talking global economy, not politics here for a second, even though they're kind of one and the same. He's getting everyone to, whether it's real or not. Okay, again, I'm not here to argue that. So he's going around talking about GDP numbers, which are looking good. What did they report? 4.1. The last report I heard, 4.1% GDP. Amazing. Okay, so unemployment rates were being reported as low. We're doing great. He showed up and asked for money that we should be getting from the UN, and nobody's been paying their bills. This is great for us, but bad for them. So what happens when all the global currencies are down, which a lot of them are? Indian rupee is down. Argentinian peso, right, is down. China is down. Debt to GDP ratio of 300. The investment levels right now are similar to that of 1999. The retail sales numbers are down. Let me pull that up. In China, okay, we got our central banks. Here's just a quick look, by the way, at current interest rates. 2% for the United States. There's 2 more times that the Fed is going to touch the interest rates this year, and 3 more tomorrow, 3 more next year. And I think that they're going to keep it low. I think that they're going to keep bringing it down because they don't want it to go up because things are going so good right now. But a lot of other countries are in trouble. Okay, they're going up. their reportings are down, okay? The retail sales numbers are down. So let's just look at China really quick. They were expecting a 9.1. I think it was 8.7 or 8.8. Yeah, 8.8. So we're down for July once that reporting came out, which it came out not too long ago. So this is bad. This the currency goes down. It's no different than a publicly traded company and you got yearly earnings report and things like that. When the sales numbers are down, the currency usually reflects that, right? And this isn't always true, but I'm not a currency guy, so I don't know. I can't give you more than that, okay? I'm just giving you macro breadcrumbs you can drill down if you'd like. China's down. Real estate's going up in China, which, watch for bubble territory, I guess. Fun fact, China buys about 50% of copper. Because what's down right now? Gold, silver, copper. All commodities are down. So China buys up about 50% of the copper, but it can't if the yuan is down. Okay, it can't if their currency is down. No country, by the way, look at all these currencies that are down. When they're down, they can barely pay their bills, let alone buy commodities. So yes, gold will be down. When global currencies are down, it can affect gold. Okay, because when they're down, they can't pay back their bills, they can't buy commodities because they're down. And it doesn't help that right now the US dollar and the US economy is really strong because gold is dollar based. So those are the variables you really got to look at to figure this out, right? Turkish lira 40% down, not right now, but it hit its low is 40%. Argentina not looking good, Venezuela not looking good with its inflation rate right now. You're seeing like a global slowdown. Yeah, that's all I wanted to touch on that. So let's get back. I wanted to talk a little bit of crypto and wrap it up there if that's cool with you guys. One big thing I wanted to show you is it does not look good on this chart, but it looks really good on the dollar. To the dollar, which would be Bitfinex. Yeah, this is where I drew it out. So it looks really easy here to follow. It doesn't look as sexy in comparison to Bitcoin, but this chart, look, it only goes back to May of this year. Okay, but anyways, what I'm showing you is this was actually somebody, I saw this as a signal. Somebody was giving this as a signal on my Twitter, which I follow a lot of people on my Twitter. And I went and looked at it because I've seen a lot of people talking about Stellar, aka XLM. But prime buying opportunity. And I'm not even looking at other indicators, which those look really good too. But what I'm looking at is I'm just looking at this simple retracement. Sometimes cryptos play ball with Fibonacci rules, let's call it, and tools. And so what we got here is sweet entry point I was hearing was 21 cents, and I would agree. We had a little bit of uncertainty going on here. Daily uncertainty. I'm on a daily. Remember, I'm not on micro time frames here. I'm on macro. So all this indecision, and finally it pops. Okay, so this was your confirmation. You'd be operating in smaller time frames to actually get your entries correct. But yeah, as soon as it passed up essentially this wick from the last day, kind of a go. Okay, so a bunch of people already opened up positions at 21 cents, even in the community. And so let's just take a look here. If we were to just measure out this motion here, it's 100%. Well, to the wick, it's 95%. Okay, for being sticklers here, 95%. So if we were to retrace, all right, let's not get over exaggerated, 95%. Again, we're at what, 42 cent range. Okay. And that's what it would look like. So yeah, I mean, I've seen some people's charts actually looking at this thing from, okay, we're going to literally retrace similar to this. And what's it going to look like? You know, 42 cents. Okay. So if you were to get in with a sizable amount of positions, it'd be a nice return. Okay. Be a very, very nice return. And you can't get these in the traditional stock market. Usually you're working on like pennies on the dollar, Forex, similar currencies. I don't even really know how that works, but they're huge margins if you go in with huge amounts of money. Here you can go in with small amounts of money and have huge margins as well. And this is just another example of that. So keeping an eye on these markets while you think it's a bear market is smart. Right now, most people are hiding. Most people are not looking at the markets because they think that everything's down. So, and f it, my portfolio's down, so I'll just not even look at anything. That's a horrible strategy, by the way. And that's probably why you're not getting the returns that you want. I was going to show you this. I don't really know where to go to get like a great list of all currencies, all fiats, but you know, you can get a little bit of that here. I might have even found a smarter way to do this by the time I'm literally uploading this video, but if you've got any suggestions, I'd love to hear them in the comment section. I'd love to just get a bird's eye view of like every major current fiat currency and then up, down, and by what percentage. So current price and then up, down for the last 24 hours. I'd love that. I know it exists. I didn't really search too hard. I didn't think it was that important. Oh, and I wanted to talk about defending the peg. Yeah, let me talk about that before I wrap this up. Everybody gets into this trouble. Part of why gold is down is because manipulation. And I don't want to use that. I think people get wrapped up in it like gold goes down for the day. Oh, yeah, manipulation. Ah, it. Manipulation. But let me cover one more thing that I didn't touch on. Gold has ETNs, ETFs, futures. That is all paper trading, okay? Let me just summarize all that for you. It's paper trading. It means I don't have to own the real, tangible, physical thing to trade it and leverage it. Leverage it to the ultimate hilt. And we see a lot of that coming into Bitcoin now. That negatively will affect this market because it means that the few can sway the many, meaning that the few that can come in with stupid amounts of money and leverage and stretch the currency can dictate the price. And we're seeing that with even just the futures expiration dates being a huge, related hugely to price action with Bitcoin. But anyways, with gold, okay, there's not enough physical gold in the world to go around. Why does gold not go through the roof? To give, and I'm way out of line in terms of timeline of this video, I'm sorry for doing that. With ETNs and with the ETFs, we have now stretched gold into territory of billions and billions and billions and billions of ounces, as much as we want. We're essentially printing more gold and silver without actually needing that physically to be there. Those numbers are skewed majorly for what's required in hand to be able to go and stretch and leverage out there. So that does affect the market, and that makes it very ripe for manipulation by big banks, which I talked about in the last video. We're seeing similar things happen with Bitcoin, which I'll touch on in just a second, but there's your answer. So why is gold not responding the way it should be? Why is it not being a safe haven? Why isn't it just going through the roof? Why didn't it go through the roof in 2008? A lot of that comes down to manipulation. And a lot of it comes down to the fact that when the news isn't talking about it and the word hasn't gotten out, it's not real yet. Those two factors are big. So a lot of times it's really just like the retail consensus hasn't caught up to the actual reality. Look how long it actually took for the bubble to play out. It started in 2005. People started catching up and catching on to it in 2006. They made a movie about this. Had Christian Bale in it, had Brad Pitt, had a lot of good people. Steve Carell, what was it, The Big Squeeze? Big Squeeze, something like that? I'll flash it on the screen right now. There you go. The Big Short, there it is. Go watch this movie. It actually follows the storyline quite accurately of what actually happened. But okay, so we could sit here drowning out in horrible numbers in gold, $1,200 range for years before the market says, oh, we should have been buying gold. Boom, they'll all buy gold, and then there's your bubble. There's your reaction. Similar things going on in Bitcoin right now is there's not enough to go around. 21 million total. Millions are thought to be lost in wallets. 850,000 has been confirmed lost. Satoshi's 1 million is assumed to be lost at this point because otherwise, why hasn't he sold it? Or maybe he purposefully did it or she purposefully did it. I forgot the actual mining numbers. I don't want to say it because I don't want to be wrong. Okay, so I'm not going to say it in this video, but you can look it up. It's one simple Google search away. Now with ETFs coming up on the horizon, and rumor of a Fidelity doing ETNs, that now means we can stretch what used to be smaller than the greater Los Angeles area to as much as we want. We just print more, print more. Yes, you have to hold some reserves, but those numbers aren't defined yet. And banks can always get around this. And institutions can always get around this. Don't think that they're playing fair for 1 minute. So that's not an excuse to think like, oh, I can never win. People like to play that victim card at this point in the storyline. I can never win. What's the point if they'll always win and I'm the little guy, poor little old me? Stop being a victim, okay? Dust yourself off, make a game plan. There's still a lot of money to be made in this market. There's still a lot of plays. I don't think that we're going to see a crazy bull run in Bitcoin unless something else globally shifts. Maybe these free zones start to pick it up, or an actual government picks it up as a global currency. Big mass adoption happens through utility. Those are going to be the things that we see. Hyperinflation happens. Otherwise, we're going to be completely dominated now by big banks. I'm just sorry to say it that way. And they'll be manipulating it based on futures, expiration dates, and whatever else they want to do because they're using fake Bitcoin to accumulate real Bitcoin right now. And so defending the peg is something that can make you go broke. We see Bitmain, I talked about it in the last video, but Bitmain, that's the problem with Bitmain right now. They sold off most of their Bitcoin to buy up Bitcoin Cash. They can't sell that now because it'll completely destroy the market, the Bitcoin Cash market, and tank that currency currency. So that is the cost that they have now paid to defend the peg, the pegging to Bitcoin. And if they fluctuate from that now, the whole thing will fall apart and crumble. Okay, it'll be $0. So now they need to do an IPO. It is great timing for them to do an IPO, honestly. They've got a ton of tech. They've got a ton of actual physical things that they sell and products that they sell. It's a good time to do an IPO, but a lot of people will not ignore the fact that they're also broke right now. China mining accounts for 51% of Bitcoin mining. Now, I don't know how that's going to come into play now that it's been established that Bitmain actually holds almost all of, or a big portion of the Bitcoin Cash pools. Those are held by very few people now, which is a version of centralization. So a lot of that becomes a joke and is the meme that they're not decentralized, you know, just like Ripple and a lot of these other currencies. But anyway, I digress. So there you have it, folks. The floor for Bitcoin is around 4,000 to 5,000. That a lot of people are saying we got to see 4,000 to 5,000 before it can actually truly bounce out of that. I think a lot of these guys are missing the macro, which is the manipulation going on, which made all of us wrong in 2017 as soon as futures were released in December 17th and 18th. And I believe we're seeing that continually again. So, you know, this was a nice play here, this Fibonacci sequencing here. So now we get to see if it'll continue to play ball on these lines, these significant lines, as we attempt to fight our way back out above the 6,500 range, which is great that we got above that and then closed and now opened above 65. Those are all, you know, slightly bullish, but this zone here is the zone I'm looking at myself, which is the 66 to 68 range, and this line kind of cutting through that there. But yeah, that's all I got, guys. Hopefully this is beneficial for you and has been valuable. Maybe you learned some things. If you did, share it around with some friends. If nothing else, flip us a like and go ahead and subscribe and hit the bell notification if you haven't already, because we'll be dropping more videos for you very soon, my friends. All right, see ya.